Welcome to the Hustlers Huddle, a podcast networking show about you.
Hey, we got
Still
that.
messed
We've
it
been
up.
practicing for weeks, Ashaad.
And we still jacked it up, man. It's so messed up. My name is Chris, the Tuck Rule is Stupid Whitwell. To my left, I have
Producer BJ.
This is Dario Radio Davis.
Guys, I'm Chris Correa, as usual. Thanks for joining us. And today we are happy to introduce, who do we got with us today, Ashaad?
Ashaad Mabry.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for being here. We're going to kind of get into this. Like I said, super excited. Ashaad's going to bring with us a lot of perspective from the football side. I know a lot of you guys are talking about this weekend. Dario's going to touch base on that a little bit. But before we get into kind of the regular show, we had something happen here recently in San Antonio that I want to make sure we acknowledge. We have a lot of first responder friends of the show. We have a lot of respect for first responders in general. And unfortunately, we lost a firefighter, Mr. Greg Garza, in the line of duty yesterday. So want to make sure that we, send respects, thoughts, prayers to his family. Anything we can do to support the first responders in this time. I know these are very trying times for them, so keep that kind of top of mind.
And
Chris is going to talk to you guys a little bit about that.
There's a couple of organizations here locally that put money into the local first responders and helping their families out in times of need, such like this. The SA 100 Club is a very popular one. All their proceeds go to it, and then they actually just did an event with the Guns and Hoses Foundation.
That's right. Yep.
This weekend they had their third annual, I believe it's the third annual police versus fire boxing match, which is always a good time. Used to be involved when I was in law enforcement as a coach for them. When I used to box, took that experience and trained some police officers how to beat up some firefighters, So it was, we always lost, by the way. They are some fit
firefighters are a little
individuals.
more fit, I think, but I'm just painting with the broad brush here.
But seriously, guys, when things like this happen, it takes a community, it takes a tribe. So if you have a little bit, even $1 helps. Get with these organizations. I can attest that they actually do put their money to the families that need it. In this case, Greg Garza. So lots of respect and well wishes to your family.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for that, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's under these circumstances, but that's they put their life on the line for us.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out here protecting us. You hear a lot of stuff today. There's with technology, cyber, the increased need for your own protection. There's a hashtag that's been trending. PJ, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Tech Tuesday, it's trending on Tuesday. Just wanted to have a little tech tip for
Tech
the week.
Tuesday on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Can we do it on? Can we do a Tech Tuesday on Thursday?
I don't think so. I think
Full of
it's Tech
dad jokes,
Tuesday.
bro. Got him.
But nice try. Right. So real quick, this is just a tip from my years of experience in the industry. Your cell phone, right? Most cell phone companies now, they're so advanced that, we throw all these apps on our phone. Most of your cell phones nowadays have 90% of the apps and things that you're really going to need. So for example, a flashlight app or a calendar or even a web browser. Lots of app phones now come with multiple web browsers. And just as a tip, like there really isn't viruses out there for your phone. A lot of people get pop-ups and adware and stuff on their phone and they're surfing the web depending on what you're using. But mainly just wanted to get the point out there that it's really adware and malware, and it's all tied into the apps and some of those things that you download. Like, don't let your kids just download whatever game app, because unfortunately, a lot of developers do put some additional ads and things, and a lot of the times that's what ends up happening, and they inhabit the device, and sometimes they're hard to remove, but they're not viruses. It's just adware, malware. Read the reviews of the app you're going to download. Normally, when you're having issues with an app, read the reviews and it'll tell you like, oh yeah, other people are having a similar issue, or it's just an update that needs to come out. But just be conscious of what you put on your device, because like I said, most of them already have 90% of the apps and features and things already embedded in the app or embedded in the phone's operating system that all you need to do is search it, find it, and you're good to go. So just heads up out there.
Something kind of to that, when you're accepting all these, can we access your photos? Can we access your
Right, all the
location? And if you
permissions.
say no, it doesn't work, right? And one of the most recent ones is everybody's talking about, take the politics side out of it, but the old face thing. Oh yeah, I'm going to download this, and
Oh,
they're
the
going to
face
have
scan
the face
one, yeah.
scans, and everybody's like,
The
oh,
old man one.
Yeah, the old man one. That was another one that's just recently in the media that you're talking about. You don't necessarily need all that stuff. Just use what you got on your phone, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of resources out there. We always talk about like Google, right?
Just YouTube it. Check it out.
What's Google?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just honestly, be careful with those adware apps and things like that. There's a lot of them out there. Try to stick to the main ones everybody's using, and you'll be fine. If not, in doubt, YouTube it, Google it.
And read the
use
reviews.
resources. Yeah,
The reviews will tell you a
absolutely.
lot, especially on, iTunes, Google Play,
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff. Look, at the end of the day, these companies are out here, they're trying to make money in a certain way.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, the way they make that money is through selling you ads or selling advertisers ads to
Right.
you, right? Selling your information, all of that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the way they get that is not always the most beneficial to you, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Free isn't always free. Right?
There is no such
Someone's
thing
making
free
as a
money.
free lunch.
ringtones, wallpaper, free games. No, I mean, and we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk a little later. But go ahead, guys.
I like it, man. I like it.
That's
So,
what's up.
hey, you know what we got to do? A little weekend catch up, roundup. Anybody have some cool times this weekend? What'd you do, Chris?
Man, I took a brutal road trip up to Dallas, and I say brutal because it's not a hard drive normally. PJ was there. PJ was a G. He showed out, But we went up
PJ's
there.
always a G.
A really close friend and associate of mine on the music side of things. He's got his band going on, 19 Machine. What's up? They put on
Shout out.
an amazing
Shout
show. It was a personal show. That was first. I think it's the first one ever that they were the reason that show existed.
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats, man.
So they've had some shows at bars, been hired as a gig, but they never put one on like this. Where they got the venue themselves and it was just them. So it was a cool show, man. It was good times. And it was a really rough ride home because I had some other stuff going on. Huh.
Hey, you were hustling.
I was
a little
hustling.
bit.
I was
Getting out
hustling.
there
When I'm
and getting
rolling
it.
in at 5 a.m, man, after like being up at 5 a.m. I was 24 hours up, driving on the last, I don't know, 20 hours or 24 hours, 25 hours.
Well,
of
in
being away.
that 35, we know that's the easiest road to drive on. Definitely not a lot of construction and traffic on it at all. That
Well,
doesn't happen.
Dude, my trick was just going from hum to hum. Like just,
not-
well, that's
do
not,
not do what you see on this show, guys.
okay,
Don't
my
try
bad.
this at home.
My bad.
Let's move on to PJ. Hey, Dario, what'd you guys get into, man? I know y'all had a hell of a weekend.
It's a trifecta. We were up in Dallas,
T-Town?
Cotton Bowl. The game did not turn out the way at least I wanted it to.
I was gonna say, I think that's all perspective, right?
But nonetheless, it was a good game, great atmosphere. Texas State Fair. Got to see a couple of my boys from UTEP. Shout out Mark Dowdy and Mike Lopez.
Were they just saw him up there? They playing? What were they?
No. They are both. Speaking of, they are both first responders.
Oh,
Mm.
awesome! man.
Mark
Yeah.
is
Shout out for sure.
is a fireman, EMT in Fort Worth, and
Okay.
Mike Lopez is in El Paso, Las Cruces. So I was able to run into both of them as long as with Coach Jason Washington, hook 'em. Like I said, the game didn't turn out the way we wanted, but it was a great weekend.
That's
So
awesome, man.
We had the
You still got to
trifecta.
get a
All
great
three of us were up
experience.
there.
Yeah.
We didn't. I don't know if you guys saw each other, but I didn't get a chance to run into PJ. It was just it was straight bedlam.
Hey,
It was
sometimes
straight
you're up there
bedlam out
hustling,
there.
man. It happens.
We were missing Correa though. He's like, nah, man, I'm just gonna make sure San Antonio doesn't leave. I'm gonna
I
hold this city
wanted
down.
to hold it down. We can't all four be out. What's going to happen to the city?
Great things
I was
in Dallas.
Don't answer that. Come on, man.
Too
They're
late.
going to kick us out. They're going to make sure we leave. That's funny, man. So I did. I held it down here in town. Kind of, same old family time. Did all of that. Hey, we did a little food bank volunteer on Friday. That was
That's cool.
awesome. Taking a little page out of Mike's book, giving a little. Got that helper's high. Enjoyed that. Hey, and this is actually a really cool project that they were doing. So they were taking food. We were making essentially packs, right? That then they would give to the schools, and the teachers would turn around and give them to students that were less fortunate. in their backpacks, but while they were out at recess. So there was no embarrassment. They'd go home and there's a bag of food in their bag, right? So I was like,
That's
man,
cool.
what a great thing to get behind, right? So yeah, hey, in terms of fun and bedlam, probably not as much fun as you guys, but it was a different kind of fun for sure.
I don't know, man. Trying not to die on the road was not fun.
That's true.
Like,
That's
straight
true.
up.
Real serious. PJ, what about you, man?
We headed out to the Red River Rivalry, man. We tried to meet up with Dario. We did see we all had a great time with him. Shout out, thanks for the show. It was a good time. And but yeah, man, we hit up the game. We didn't get into the stadium, but we were outside at the state fair and had a blast just tailgating with the
I
OU
saw you online, man. I saw those pictures. It looked like y'all were having a blast.
Had a really, really good time. And then right around the beginning of the fourth quarter, it looked like the game was kind of winding down. We decided to go ahead and head to College Station and finish the Aggies and Alabama game.
This
You were
is
just
such a
footballed
Texas
out,
comment,
man.
right? In what other state can you be like, yeah, no, we decided to pick up, drive 300 miles across to catch the other game? You're on the East Coast. You're like, yo, we went from New York to Atlanta just to go watch the game.
Yeah,
You know?
or like France to
Yeah,
Germany
in Europe,
or
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. Hey, so speaking of football, speaking of different cities, we have with us.
I sense a setup here.
Yeah, hey, you see what I did there?
I like
was
it.
trying to get
Man.
that.
Pride in the house has everything outnumbered right now. That's all I got to say.
Hey, allow me to do my setup, bro. I was gonna throw the Brahma thing in
I
there
just had
for
to
you.
get that in.
You see, Dario can't even let that slide. No, but hey, we are super happy to have. I know you guys heard him earlier, Ashaad Mabry with us. So former MacArthur Brahma in the house, former UTSA Roadrunner, New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panther, and San Antonio Commander most recently.
We'll throw that in there.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
well,
just-
I know that's
you
a
know.
touchy subject. Okay,
we'll throw that
Ashaad,
in.
how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah. So, how you been? What are you doing these days? What was your weekend like, man? We're all talking football. Do you still watch football every weekend? You still watching the games?
I watch college football. I don't really watch the NFL too much. I never really did, honestly. Pretty boring weekend though. I was just hanging with the kids.
Is somebody calling us right now? Like,
Yo,
what
the Hustlers Huddle. We're getting the call in.
Live on the line. Go ahead, caller.
That's exactly right. I like it. Hey, we need that system to actually patch them through. Leave a message. We'll hit you back.
I really started looking around for a phone. So
Yeah, it's like, hello?
Sorry, man.
Don't
So
answer.
you were saying about college football. Sorry.
Yes, I watch a lot of college football. Like
You mind
I'm-
getting a little closer on the
my
mic for
bad,
me?
my bad.
Thanks.
Yeah,
No,
so
you're good.
I'm watching college football all day. I don't really watch NFL too much. What am I doing now? I've been in the real estate world for a little, probably like 2.5 months.
How you liking it?
It's good. I mean, no complaints. Like
It's-
working my own hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just got cleared actually from my injury that I got with the Commanders 2 weeks ago. So I had decided that I wasn't going to play, but the Packers wanted me to come work out, so I went out there.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I definitely wasn't in like my greatest.
Yeah,
shape.
you did love it.
Yeah, they said I looked all right, but I was like, I haven't ran in 10 months, but let's do it.
That's
So,
awesome. Hey, well, to even have that opportunity, man. I mean, people
Yeah.
are still looking at you. I since we're talking about it, I saw that you mentioned to your family something along those lines. Hey, if I can get 100%, I'll go out there and I'll give it another shot for you. But obviously, understanding the rigors and what actually takes place to your body out there, you wanted to make sure that you were actually 100% before you went and do that.
Exactly.
So, how you feeling? You 100?
Right. I'm feeling good, so I went and gave it a shot, and we'll see what comes of it.
So, hey, you guys
95,
heard
you
it here
straight
first.
100. Like,
96.
okay.
Hey,
Man,
so on that note, I was watching a couple of, I guess you and a couple of your NFL compadres getting together, working out here in town. Do you still hang with those crews? Was it Coach Dunk, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, man.
Well, I mean, none of them. A lot of them aren't here right now.
A lot of them are playing
Yeah.
in the NFL right
They're
now.
playing
there's
right
this,
now.
this little thing called on season.
Right. So they're playing. One of my closest friends, he's out doing law school in Dallas. So, yeah, I was in Dallas recently, but Yeah, everyone's gone. So,
So the
really
real
just
estate
me.
is keeping you busy while
Right,
they're
so
all out, huh?
that's all I got.
So
But
what do you do to keep in shape when they are gone? I mean, obviously, if you're entertaining workouts for pro teams, you got to be doing something to stay fit, to keep your game legs underneath you.
right, I mean, I go work out and I run and stuff, but I still train with Coach Dunk every now and then. Like when the Packers called, I was actually with him. So we got in like 3 days of training before I headed out there. And
So who is Coach Dunk to you? How did you meet him? How do you guys know each other? How did you find this guy as a resource, or this coach
I
rather?
think my old agent actually introduced me to him a few years back, maybe like 3 or 4 years back, and we just kind of took off together, have a great bond, and that's how I met, a lot of. Well, I knew a lot of the guys, but that's how a lot of us kind of got close. We all trained together, so.
That's awesome. So is he like an ex-football coach, or is he more strength conditioning kind of?
He's a track guy.
He's a
Yeah,
really.
so
Hey, my kind of guy.
yeah,
Guy
so,
after my own heart.
so he just works on like all our footwork and stuff, and it does wonders, honestly.
So I've always been curious what the regiment or the workout side of things look like. I've recently watched a documentary about how NFL players eat, like literally with the kitchens, and that you walk in and your specialized diet and the food trays, which is really fascinating. But what does a workout look like? Take us through a training day when you're rocking and rolling, man.
I have a feeling I'm gonna get tired just listening to this.
Off season or in season?
Off season
Off-season,
probably
yeah.
probably more intense, right?
So do you mean like
I mean, whatever
with,
you want
with
it to
my
be.
trainer or like
Take me through
No,
a day.
back?
I mean, I'm
back,
sure you
like
two
when we get
days or
back?
whatever. Take me through a day. Take me
Um,
through a strenuous day.
Yeah.
A strenuous day is usually like I'm gonna wake up, I'll go train for like an hour and a half with Coach Dunk or so.
Mhm.
Then I'll go lift for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Get in the steam room, and really I'll probably take like a 2-3 hour nap after that.
Right.
Yeah, you got to recover.
That's pretty much like the training day regimen. Maybe a cold tub or something.
So when you say the first hour, hour and a half of training, is that skills training or what kind of training?
Like footwork
Right,
and
like
stuff.
footwork. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And then you have the lifting. Do you do more heavy weights? Or you calisthenic? Like what style of workout or just whatever
Depends on the day, man.
time to lift?
He's like, man, I just toss iron.
This, you
right.
guys, I mean, those of you that are tuning in on YouTube, I appreciate you. You can find the YouTubes or any kind of links at thehustlershuddle.com. Plug.
I like it.
The outside of that though, like seriously, if you're listening, this guy is like 9 foot tall and about 400 pounds of
That's
just
his
raw
vibe.
muscle.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
huge, so he's doing something right. He's working out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, and I heard too, you have a saying where you really believe off season is the most important season. So you're putting in that work year round. Kind of, we had a guy a while back, boxer, talking about how Tyson would always talk about, I like to run at 4 a.m. because the other guy's sleeping. You know what I mean? Kind of do. So you kind of put that into your work where you really hit it hard during the off season to make sure that you're ready for on season.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, because it's being in football shape is so different. Like when you get back out there, and if you weren't working hard all off season, everybody's gonna know.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to push yourself during the off season, like you have to.
Well, it makes sense. That's your, you're a pro. That's your job,
Right.
So these people are keeping up year round the same way, unfortunately, we got to work year round, right? You guys got to also. That's
Exactly.
awesome, man.
Exactly.
Hey, so speaking of working, do you take any cool vacations, breaks, anything like that? What do you do to relax once, because you got to blow off some steam sometimes.
Right.
Some schemes, these kinds.
I'm sweating here because it's hot.
Hey man,
Can I
we
grab
got
the towel?
yo. You want? Got you.
You said you had me.
I got you.
So
Hey, we turn off the AC in here
We
for
do.
your
Yeah.
listening pleasure, so there's no buzz, but it does get a little warm.
And I'm a big man.
I got you.
I
cold
noted
water,
that.
too.
I noted that.
We did duly noted.
Ashaad, that's on me. I'm working on it. I'll take care of it
Don't worry.
next time.
Next time.
Hell yeah.
Vacations. I like to go places in Texas. Mostly I go to Houston and Dallas, but I like to visit Vegas at least twice a year.
My man.
Vegas. Tampa is a place I like to go to.
Yo, isn't Tampa so underrated?
I
I
love
love that
yeah,
city.
Like-
yeah, Tampa's good.
People are always like go to Miami. And I honestly like Tampa more than Miami. I don't know. It's just me.
Well, I like that
Different
everything's
vibe.
more accessible. Well, for me, you're in the NFL, so everything's probably good for you in Miami. For me, Tampa's much more my kind of town. But no, it's beautiful too, right? The
Right.
water. I didn't realize how gorgeous it was out there. Like, and then we started going quite a bit, and
There's a
I got to know
lot
the
of money
town
in
and
town.
stuff. It's gorgeous. You spent some time out there, Dario?
I've visited a couple times. I went, nothing more than a long weekend,
Sure.
but
Hey, that's
it was
all you need.
fantastic. Hey, getting back to your training shot, because never met I never got to a 53-man roster. You have. I've been around, we speak a lot of the same language. What is when it comes to training, what do you look forward to? And on the flip side, what do you like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
Like, because I know as a former athlete, certain aspects of training, I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it. And then other aspects, I'm like, man, motherfucker.
Honestly, oh my bad.
There you go. He's like a pro out here already.
Honestly, I look forward to footwork because
Right.
as a D lineman, well, as any position, you need footwork. I hate squats,
Really?
but
Nobody likes leg
it's
day.
not like because people are like, leg day this, leg day that. I got a hernia from squatting.
Okay.
So like, I never want to squat.
Right.
So like, I'm the guy who's like, that leg press.
Yeah.
That leg press looks nice over there.
But do they have enough
Okay.
plates for the leg press for you? Because I pictured like load you up on front squat just to give you a workout. I mean, how many plates are you pressing on the leg press?
The entire rack.
Yeah,
like,
like-
as many
Depends
people
on
on
the
the
day.
They're like, send
My
somebody
bad,
to
that's
academy. We don't have enough plates.
Lazy day, I'm just gonna throw like 3 on there and act
There you
like
go.
I'm straining. Well, I do a lot of single leg work.
Thanks for making me
Right.
feel like a superhero and then taking that away from me. It's all in one
It's like,
go.
well, let me-
I'm like, yeah, I
let me
do
make
3
sure.
on both sides. Oh, single leg. Never mind.
No, Ashaad, I completely agree with you. I've had coaches say, man, damn, I don't care if you can lift the whole gym. If you can't get where your ass needs to be on the field, your strength
does it
is
matter?
moot. Your strength is moot. Speed kills. But going back to the weight room, you hate squats. What movement do you enjoy?
Bench press.
You like bench press? That's
Of
what's
course.
up. And I know I got a couple more questions later. What 2 or 3 D linemen do you admire, or like I want to patent my game after, these 2?
Yeah,
or 3?
who's your
I think one of my
inspiration?
favorite. I got to shake his hand, this young man's hand, not too long ago, was Aaron Donald. I mean that man. I mean he is 6'1" and 290 pounds with a 6-pack. I've never seen anything
It's
like.
like
I
a
mean,
tree trunk.
I mean, he's built like a damn fire hydrant. Yeah. Who are 2 or 3, 4 or 5 that
10,
Yeah.
15.
currently
you know.
in the past? I'm a little bit of a football nerd, sports nerd. Who
Wait, what? Dario?
a
You
little
into
bit,
sports?
a little bit.
Well, Aaron Donald is of course an idol, but I don't model my game after Aaron Donald because I feel like nobody can. I mean, he's unprecedented. He's something that we've never seen. He's like you said, he's 6'1", he's 290, has a 6-pack. He ran a 4.6.
That's crazy.
So like, you know what I'm saying? We can't model after him.
Right.
Growing up, so when I did watch NFL growing up, I modeled my game after Kevin and Pat Williams.
Okay.
That Vikings D line.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
everyone would always give me a hard time because
The Williams brothers.
right.
Yeah.
They're not brothers.
They were not
but-
brothers,
yeah, everyone
but
called them that.
yeah.
So my rookie year actually, we signed Kevin Williams when we were in training camp, and everyone would give me a hard time because there was like a story out where he was. Of course, I said he was my idol, blah blah blah. So I actually got to get some tips from him. When
That
I
is
got to the
awesome,
league.
man.
Yeah,
Wow.
which I thought was super cool because he's super down to earth and it was great.
Well, and they always say you shouldn't meet your idols because you're usually
you'll
disappointed
get
by it, right?
disappointed, yeah,
So in
yeah.
your case, it doesn't sound like that at all. You actually had a great experience actually getting to meet and play with your idol.
Right.
That's fantastic,
Yeah,
man.
it
How
was-
cool is that?
It was a cool experience to be around him for. I mean, a whole year, and so he taught me a lot of things. One of the people I look up to is like my brother, like my big brother is Cam Jordan,
Oh yeah.
defensive end
Oh
for
yeah. Oh yeah.
New Orleans. We just got really close when I was there, and we still remain close. I just went and saw him last weekend to watch them play, and you know what I'm saying. I just look up to him. He's got a motor that people like really don't see. They don't realize that man's 290, and he takes. You know what I'm saying? They'll take him out for 4 plays a game. This man will play the whole game.
The rest of the time he's in there.
He's the most underrated D lineman, in my opinion, currently playing. Aaron Donald gets a lot of pub. Of course, J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a damn metronome. He just doesn't stop going.
Exactly. What people, I think, what they miss is this man. I mean, he gets double-digit sacks every year, right? But they don't see that he can play the run. Like, he's great at playing the run.
He's good all around.
Right. They don't see, like, how many TFLs he has. He's just, I mean, I just think.
What's a TFL? Help me out here.
Oh, yeah.
Tackle for loss.
Thank you.
No, that's a great point. You're right, because not everybody knows that. But no, and I think it's an interesting dynamic, right? Because as fans, spectators, we all see these guys and we're like, oh, that's great, that's awesome. But being on the field with them, you have a different perspective. You probably admire things that we don't, maybe like footwork, for instance, right? Like, oh, this guy's, we're not necessarily looking at that as a fan or a spectator. Mm-hmm. So your entire perspective on what you respect and what you see as something you want to model yourself after is completely different than what we can probably imagine.
Exactly. Like, so for instance, when I went that weekend 2 weeks ago or whatever, I went to watch the game, and that's the first NFL game I've ever, watched, not
like been on the sidelines, like you were stepped back watching.
And all I could watch was every D lineman's hands, because that's like all I cared about. And I was like, that guy has great hands. And I'm sitting over here thinking like, good hand placement, Cam. And people are like hand placement.
So that's an interesting perspective that I've never thought of before, is you're sitting in the stands watching it as a fan, but I'm sure there's a lot of business going on the sidelines. You're thinking of your plays. You're going to, what does that look like when you're not on the field? Sitting on the sidelines, your coach is talking to you. I mean, take me through that. I mean, like, I feel like
you're in the game.
There's more than just standing around watching the game, right? I mean,
so when you come to the sideline, you have to sit in your designated area for your position. So your coach knows where you are and they can get to. They're always going to come say something to you. Want to know what such and such is doing, if you're getting any keys, and that's college, NFL, whatever. But it's really like, so you already mentally expect that, so you're going to get that for 30 seconds to a minute, and then you can really just kind of watch the game and just kind of get your mind ready to go back in.
And on that point, Chris, I'm not sure if maybe you haven't noticed, when a certain unit comes off, like example for O linemen, they sit in the exact same order as they would be on the field.
That's fascinating.
It's tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle.
Oh, no kid. Okay.
They sit in the exact same order. As a defensive back, it was corner, free, strong, corner. We sit in the exact same way.
Just almost like a continuity of building that unit, right? Like it's always that unit.
You're always engaged on field, off field, especially O linemen, because that, I've always admired O linemen as much as I love every other position on the field. They're the only position, their position ends in man.
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just kind of boom. But yeah, that's how structured
alpha
it is. That's how
I want to be an O lineman because there's a man.
You know what I mean? It's not like,
that's something such like football player thought.
Cornerback, safety. It's like, I'm an O line man. But no, it's a lot of continuity to it, no matter you're on or off the field.
I never knew that. That's really cool,
man.
Yeah. It's honestly like, down in the trenches, that's where the game is played.
Right.
Like it's a game of inches, and the impacts and stuff that are going on between. I mean, the Hogs. One of my best friends is a O lineman coach for a team here in town. Shout out to Somerset Bulldogs. My buddy Rick. But yeah, man, he's always telling me.
Oh, geez, Rick.
I remember, having those drills in the off season, man, where it's just, it's inside hole, dude. It's
good times.
Those were one of my fun ones. I like those. That's funny. Hey, so we're talking about this, Dario. Appreciate that perspective, and it leads me into kind of something that PJ and I have kind of had a conversation of outside of this room, and I'm interested to get your perspective, a shot on this. We were talking the other day about college being paid, right? And kind of to what you're talking about, it sounds like whether it's I see you warming up
his hands. He's like stretching. Let me talk about this.
Because
Here in a
listen,
second.
so
Too
I'm
late
getting a
for
lot
us.
of I'm sorry, what?
No, I was saying too late for us.
Yeah. Well, but so what you're telling me, you even just said it, right? So whether you're college, you're pro, you're already starting to approach the game like a business, right? We all know it's not rocket science that colleges make hundreds and millions of dollars off of their football program,
It's a
right?
business.
So at what point is it okay? Is it not okay? What's y'all's perspective on this? I mean, do you have some thoughts on this, Ashaad?
Well, college is a business. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
simple as that. So, I mean, the biggest thing to notice is, let's talk about high school football for a second. I've seen coaches have 10 losing seasons in a row. They're not going to get fired. In college, you're going to get fired after maybe 2 losing
For sure.
seasons. You know why? Because it's a business. You know what I mean? And one of the most successful games other than Madden was the college football game, and see that everyone played.
Why did they
I-
shut that down?
I don't.
That game was dope.
It was.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like it was. I think they shut it down because people were probably like, we need to pay the athletes. Maybe. I mean, you really never really know exactly, why something happens. But yeah, I mean, college players should definitely get paid.
That's your stance on it. Cool.
This
What do you guys?
is, I want to interject here because I've had this conversation a lot of times with a lot of different people. For the most part, Division I football is the largest revenue generator for said university or
Oh,
college.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait,
All
they're
right.
not winning the money off the science project, bro?
All right.
The book fair?
I'm going to get to my point in a minute, but just as a little bit of trivia, who do you think the highest paid public official in Texas is?
In Texas,
Who's the highest paid public official?
comptroller's office.
Probably based off of where you're going with this, the person that controls the football organization of universities.
It's arguably Tom Herman or Jimbo Fisher.
Which is who? What position does he
They're
hold?
head football coaches.
Oh, head football.
They're the highest
that's a
paid
good one.
public officials in Texas.
Oh, I guess
So,
technically, if they're at a public
they're-
university, they're a public official.
They're
That makes
considered
sense.
a public
Okay,
official
cool. Yeah.
or CPA. Anyway, my opinion on these student athletes, look how I said that, student athletes, how they should be compensated as D1 athletes, mainly football and basketball, generate millions of dollars revenue. You're not more than an athlete. You're an ambassador for your college or university, right? Once that athlete graduates, I believe they should get a lump sum check. Whatever that amount is, hey, thank you for graduating A&M, UTEP, UTSA,
Whatever, something.
UT. Hey, you've been
So-
a solid
so-
ambassador. You played 4 or 5 years. Yes, you got a free education, but you put your body on the line. Like we said, it's a business.
So I'm hearing.
There's 200. I'm almost.
Oh yeah, no.
206 bones, 600 plus
Okay, I
muscles
got
in our
this.
body. Like I said a couple shows ago, they all need to be operating at the most optimal level to put out an optimal product. When you're in that football field, D1 football, it's just there is no minor league football. D1 football
Sure.
is minor league football. So once that athlete pays, hey, thank you, Ashaad, thank you, Dario, thank you, whoever. You graduated, you represented the university well. Here's 40 grand to start your life with and that's a drop in the bucket.
So I'm hearing both of you guys
That's a
are obviously
drop.
saying compensation, definitely. How they go about
That's
compensating,
how
there
they
could
should
be
do it.
some
I'm not
you know,
talking
discussion
about an extra whatever $100 a month.
yeah,
No,
but like they
bunk-
should get some
bunk
real
that, man.
compensation.
Bunk that. Once you get your degree, man, here's 5-figure, legit. Thank you for being an ambassador. Thank you for representing your university.
What are your
You
thoughts,
got a
PJ?
degree, you're fully armed. Boom.
It's interesting. I mean, you mentioned a couple things. You said D1. So like, where do we draw that line? Who gets paid? Who gets paid how much? And then, I mean, it's revenue from
Well,
what the
if it's like
university
a
makes,
business,
and then there'll be ESPN. I guess,
it would be on revenues and profits, right?
yeah.
I
Right.
mean,
So,
like
so
it
you
wouldn't
wouldn't-
matter if
so
it's
you wouldn't
D1 or
do-
D3.
Well,
Like,
you wouldn't do D3 because D3 doesn't even have football.
well, then there you go.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So my question would be: is the defining factor between a professional athlete, and an amateur athlete?
Well, and I think that's
is
where PJ was kind of going, right?
Definitively pay. Period. Right.
Yeah.
So how do you take a collegiate? I mean, you're saying at the end is the way to
At the end,
get past.
that's the way you get
But
rid
is
of all
he-
that murkiness.
But is he still not playing for the pay? Especially if how well he performs gets him a bigger paycheck at the end.
No, not at all. I don't give a damn if you're an All-American.
Uh,
I don't give a damn if you're third string. If you put in the time, you put in the effort, you got your 2.5 or above,
right.
you represented your school, you didn't get into too much, off the field issues. Kids, I don't want to say
Kids will be kids.
kids will be kids, male or female, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't want to get blasted for, saying that.
Right.
Young people will be young people,
Right.
Sure.
right? So I don't give a damn if you're third string. I don't give a damn if you're win the Heisman. You represent your school. That $35,000 for 10 to 15 graduating seniors is nothing. Is nothing.
Do you have to graduate? Like, what if you get?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, you do. Yes, that's
No.
your incentive.
No.
Because-
What are your thoughts, Ashaad?
I didn't get my degree until.
Well,
No,
hold
no,
on,
but
hold on,
that's okay. But you got to make considerable money though.
Right.
But what if he
I'm-
injured
I'm
out?
saying
Yeah, but he still represented the school. He was
Yeah.
still
No,
that
no,
ambassador.
and that's
I didn't
fine.
go to school my last semester to train for the NFL. So, like I said, I took classes and I didn't finish until 2018.
Congrats.
And then you get it then.
I wouldn't say one that you need to graduate, and two, I wouldn't say the third stringer should get as much as the starter, because if it's like a business, if we're gonna do like the NFL,
That's kind of
you
my
should-
thoughts
you
on
should-
it, right?
Yeah, you should get paid by your production, by if you're putting people in the like
It's a meritocracy. Yeah.
Johnny Manziel should have got a bigger check than anybody because
He put a
put
name on that
fans-
program.
Yeah, he put fans in the seats. Everyone.
You
wanted to
mean
come
Johnny
see
football?
Johnny football.
Exactly.
So
right.
no matter what you think of Johnny Manziel as a person,
Sure.
did you want to watch him play?
Well, look, let's extrapolate that out into the pros, right? Like, and not painting with a broad brush here, but a lot of these people, as perhaps people, we wouldn't think the best of them, but we're paying for entertainment. We're
Right.
paying, or as a business, look, and I know you're going to get into this weekend with the refereeing lack thereof,
Right.
but look at the Cowboys, man. They can lose all they want, and they're still going to be the highest
Exactly.
valued
That's where I
franchise
was gonna go
in
with
all
that.
of sports history.
And the goal of higher learning, the goal of attending a university or college is to hone your skills to set yourself up to make money. So if you do leave early, highly talented athlete, how is that any different to a highly talented guitarist, a highly talented piano player? So basically, we're talking about athlete prodigies, correct? Athletic prodigies that I can leave early. I got a chance to make 7-figure plus, even though I don't get my degree. I'm in this institution to set myself up for life. You can still come back around.
But that doesn't negate the going back to the business, the entertainment that you brought, the
Or
institution.
what
That
if
still
you-
doesn't negate that. You
what if
still
your leg
brought
gets
that
blown out and
you
done?
institution all that
still, you still
attention.
brought it there. And so if I'm able to leave as a junior, man, I really wanted to graduate, but I'm going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, but let's play devil's advocate to that. How many people think they're gonna? Ashaad, you got a shoulder injury, man, right? So you
Where?
go out, you're gonna be in
Wrist
here.
injury.
You go to
Or
Goosehead
had,
Insurance.
Sorry, past tense. He's 100%, guys.
Oh, with the
96,
Commanders, it was
dog.
actually a
He's
knee
96.
You what?
injury. With the Commanders, it was a knee injury. With the
Oh, the
Panthers,
knee.
it was my wrist.
Okay, sorry. So my point is, you go out, you have the best intentions. Nothing's guaranteed, right? You get. Does that negate the 3 years of great work, money that you brought into that institution? Does that just say, hey, well, you had a shot at something else?
yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. And then not everybody makes it to for regardless whatever reason, right? There's a lot of people, and then So it's definitely got to be looked at, I think, and we got to figure out a right way to do it, and that's what they're doing right now. I don't think any of us have a really good handle on it, but it's definitely an interesting thing. I got another question for you, just to kind of transition a little bit. What do you think about CTE? I just read an article like 2 days ago that said if I know I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, if you let your child play football before the age of 14, they they very they increase your chances of getting CTE. It's by like tenfold almost.
I saw a commercial, the PSA thing, tried to, if you play me in little league, it's the same as making me smoke. And like, really, have y'all seen that?
I haven't seen
Like,
that
it's
one, but I
on the
know that they
television.
are.
Yeah.
They're going hard on that
Yeah.
campaign.
He absolutely right. They compared it to smoking, and then people are like, "Hey, is that really?" I mean, think about it.
When did you start playing?
When I was 12,
Okay, cool.
13. Not till
You
middle
have
school.
you have a son, right?
I do.
Would you let him play at a young age? What are your thoughts on that?
Funny that you asked that because we were at my nephew's game this weekend.
Okay.
And everyone was like, "You gonna put your son in football?" I was like, "No, I'm not." He plays soccer.
Hey,
You're amongst
That,
friends.
that was my first love. So I love soccer.
Wow.
I watch soccer as much as I can all the time.
hey, SAFC
I-
this weekend for the playoffs,
You wanna
man.
roll
You should come out
bro?
Saturday.
Let's go.
It's funny that y'all say that because I went to a game. So one of my trainers, not like getting my footwork right, but
Like cardio conditioning kind of trainer or something.
right, no, like in New Orleans, you have
Oh, right,
trainers.
Hmm.
He's the head trainer for the Scorpions. Yeah, so
No kidding.
Frank?
He came
Yeah.
from the Saints.
Is his name Frank?
Adam.
Adam.
Little
Okay,
shout
Frank
out.
is his guy
Give him a
underneath.
little shout
Yeah.
out.
Hey, shout out Adam.
Yeah, Adam Quigley. So, it's crazy. I actually ran into him. We actually go to the same barbershop.
Awesome, man.
So so I ran into him and he was like, "Come out," and I was like, "All right, I will." So I came to a game a few weeks back.
They're fun, right?
Yeah,
You get out there, it's a
liked
great
it, and
time.
They had some really good nachos. So
Hell
Yo,
yeah.
I
Hey,
know
the
where to get
burrito
him
pie.
too,
shout out
bro.
to the nachos out there.
Yeah, but seriously, this weekend, hit me up after the show if you want to come out. Some of us are gonna be out there.
I'll be out of town.
Oh
okay.
yeah, that's right.
Like,
Well, while we're on the top, go
every
ahead.
time I don't have my kids.
Well,
like, I'm
before,
out of
because I
town.
want to finish what he was saying about
Yeah. Okay.
his son.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry. I got you off topic on that. Because we got soccer in the mix. I had to go on.
I love soccer.
So you were saying, you don't want your son to play. You want him to play soccer?
No, it's not that I don't want him to play. I told him when he gets to 7th grade and he has to, and he can actually play, and, we don't have to go do anything. I said, we can decide then if you want to play, but you're not going to play before then.
I feel like the 7th grade thing, when maybe like our age, and I don't know, I feel like that was like your rite of passage. Like for me, I didn't even know about younger football leagues when I was a kid. It was like, yo, you play football when you get to 7th grade, and you try out for the school if you make the team or whatever,
Right.
I don't know if that's just a Texas thing or whatever.
I mean, in Texas, I feel like everybody plays little league. Honestly, I couldn't afford it. So like,
Yeah.
I wanted to play. I wanted to play at a younger age, but honestly, just
I always found that the cats
hard
that
way of growing up.
right the cats that played low at the younger age, when they got to 7th grade, those were the starters. Those were the studs. Those were the ones that moved up to their version of varsity in 8th grade, like right off the bat.
Well, and then when they get to like 10th grade, they're burnout city, and they're like, yo, party
Hey,
time.
All right,
saw
all right.
that a lot too. But no, I mean, my first year playing, I was pretty good. My middle school retired my jersey, and I donated
Oh, that's awesome.
one of my Saints jerseys to him. So
That's cool.
I saw, that was over at Comalander, right? Did they?
no, that was at Garner.
Oh, is that a Gardner?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
cool.
was at Garner. So I'm donating another jersey to MacArthur soon.
When are you doing that?
Hashtag MacArthur.
there's-
Hashtag Garnet.
There's some stuff going on in MacArthur right now that we're trying to get past. And
Sure.
Then
Hey, well, let us know, man,
get
if we
back
can
to
come
it.
out and support. We'd love to see that, especially
Yeah,
with these
for sure.
Brahmas here.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
For sure. I don't know about y'all, but my
Oh,
guys over here.
Hey.
See how he is? The other thing, speaking of kind of Texas traditions, and I think we've talked about this before, San Antonio is real funny, man. If you ask somebody, hey, where'd you go to school? Everybody always says their high school. right? Like everywhere else, you ask them where they go to school, they're like, oh, I went to UT or whatever. In San Antonio, they're like, MacArthur, bro, Reagan. No, it's a fun, I've noticed that, and people have called that out as well.
A lot of pride. A lot of pride out here.
Heck yeah. So speaking of, I'm sorry, were you
Well,
going to say
I
something?
was gonna say we got a new little introduction. here
Literally,
coming
man.
in.
Speaking of
Yeah.
school and sports pride, well, I don't think it's an introduction. I think
Well, no,
Dario's
introduction to a segment.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yo, so we want to, as we mentioned to you guys, start incorporating sports on a regular basis. There's a lot of stuff going on. Dario kind of teased it last week, so I'm going to turn it over to him and let Dario do his thing for a couple of minutes. Get it, man.
Yeah, man. So moving forward, this is a little halftime break, a little sit back, relax, put your feet up. It's gonna be DHD, Dario's halftime dimes. Hut. So what we're gonna talk about today, a little UT football. You see me, my boy Jay Wash, Coach Washington right there. And more importantly, the word of the day is accountability. Accountability. When I'm talking about accountability, I'm talking about these referees. All right. We're halfway through the NFL season. We're at the sports equinox, just like I was talking last week. You got everything jamming. Basketball starts in about a week. Astros won today, up 2 games to 1 against them damn Yankees.
Correa.
Yeah, Carlos Correa. There it is. Mayberry representing that H-Town.
He's wearing a hat, by the way, for
hockey
those
starting. Like I was saying, obviously in the middle of NCAA and NFL football. But the topic is accountability. These refs are getting more and more pub. They're getting more and more things wrong. As I go through this new segment, when it comes to NFL football, everything surrounding NFL football is full-time. The players, the coaches, the support staff, the trainers. Hey, Ashaad, if I misspeak, correct me.
Gotcha.
Right? Everything in football is full-time, right? All supporting
100%.
staff, everything surrounding football is full-time, but the referees.
What do you mean they're not full-time?
They're not full-time. These referees, they get paid about $3,000 a game. Right? This is from my research earlier. If you are a minimum paid NFL athlete, minimum, you're making about $480,000 a year as a full-time job. According to my calculations.
Hey, we going to dinner after this, bro, or what?
No, but I'm going to put this in perspective. I'm
just a real estate agent.
So, looking to buy a house. We're going to go to dinner after this?
No, but I'm going to put this in perspective. All right. $480,000 a year. That's $250 an hour. About 10 grand a week, about 40 grand a month, full time.
Okay.
Referees, $3,000 a game. Part time, $750 an hour. Let that sink in for a second. We have young men like Ashaad. We have all the support staff, the coaching staff, the trainers, everyone in the front office, human resources, the agents, scouts, working their ass off full time. But at the end of the day, you have 8 officials in NFL. You have 8 in D1 college football. Now, what sense does that make? Talking about corporations and money. Where is this really going? You have 14 eyes on an NFL field. We have the highest TV quality, HD, that we've ever had in our life. Nothing like growing up in the 80s and early 90s. You had the little squiggly lines and everything. Was that foot in? Did he catch it?
That was only the
Or his
TV
hands on the
after
knees?
12.
I know you're going after the
remember the
squiggly
first Thanksgiving
lines.
game.
Never mind. Those squiggly lines you're talking about.
Those channels?
But $750 an hour. That's what a top defense criminal attorney charges. Right.
So aren't a lot of these guys, they are attorneys, right? A lot of them?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They when I did my research earlier, there are approximately 22 full-time referees. There are 32 teams. All the rest of the officials, part-time, making multi-millions, sometimes billions of dollars worth of decisions, working part-time. So what kind of accountability is that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And you hear everybody, it doesn't matter who your team is. It seems like every week, everybody's pissed at the refs.
Lions
right?
got robbed.
Oh, there you go. See?
Lions got robbed.
So what's your solution to that, Dario? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Make them full-time, man. Come on. If you can, don't pay them as much. Don't pay them $750 an hour.
Make them have more skin in the game. Make them actually
more
have
skin in the game.
accountability.
And the thing is, these refs just don't go from, I was selling insurance to being a ref. They had a pecking order. They did middle school, high school, junior college, maybe a little D2, D3, D1. These men have seen thousands of games, thousands. When you add that with our technology, it's inexcusable. It's taking a bit from Chris Rock. It's like bad cops. You can't have a bad cop. You can't have a bad airline pilot. Like, I think I'm going to land today. You know what I mean? That's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of lives. But for real, with their expertise and with our technology, there should be zero room for error. Major League Baseball got it right. Basketball normally gets it right. Soccer, VAR, as of the past year and a half.
Oh, yeah, I was just
Hockey,
going to say, in soccer, they got the chips in them.
Every other sport got it right. Track and field has had it right.
So let me toss this out there. I mean, Ashaad, maybe you got an opinion on this. Are they maybe not trying to get it right? Is there maybe some conspiracy here? Is there? What did you say?
Ashaad, I'll let you take the floor on this.
He's still hold on. He just hang on. Let me.
Hey, he's thinking about that future with the Packers. He's like, let me choose my
with the
words.
Packers. So Ashaad, thank you so much for your commentary on that. Moving right along.
I have no comment on where their chips lie. I mean, y'all saw the Saints versus Rams last year.
Oh, yeah.
That call was so bad. I had people calling me. I said, guys, I haven't played for them in 2 years.
They're
talking about,
why are you letting them call those calls that?
I'll never forget. This girl calls me, an old college friend. She's like, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm good. Are your teammates okay? And I was like, I don't play for them. And she was like, your ex-teammates, like, it's just not okay. And I was like, I'm okay.
She's like, once a teammate, always a teammate.
She was like crying, and she's like a Cowboys fan. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I gotta go.
That's funny, man.
But to what Dario was saying about the officials, I've been saying that for years. Officials should be full-time. Every Tuesday morning in season, we talk about the coach will put up on the board who our officials are for the week. He'll talk about them, blah, blah, blah. He'll say this is their full-time job. And that always kind of bothered me because it's like, if we want everyone to get it right, make the refs full-time and make them pay. So if we get penalties.
Yeah, you guys get fined.
Right. If we're gonna get fined for hits, if we play bad, anybody on the team plays bad, we're going to get benched. We're going to get cut. It should be the same way. If you got refs that are missing calls over and over again, why are they not getting suspended for weeks?
Yeah, no, I think that makes practical sense. So I would throw this in there just maybe as a caveat. So you mentioned you don't watch a lot of football or pro football as it is. I don't know if it's the same reason as me, just kind of the time. I mean, the games are already what? 4 hours long? 3 hours long?
3 to 4. Yeah.
So let's say we add this added layer of what? Reffing refs. Now what are we looking at? 5-6 hour games? You got a replay on every single.
What is there?
I didn't say that.
No, and I'm not either. I'm trying to understand like the.
I don't I wouldn't want that.
Okay.
I want them to be fully accountable.
Right.
Give them
accountability.
Give them a full-time job. That way, if they what's the most important thing in the world? Money.
Give them something they can lose.
Right.
I mean, family, love. Come on.
Money makes the world go around.
I like how you-
If this is their full-time job and they're not working any other job and say they're making good money, you start paying the refs $80,000 a year or something like that. And if they know that if I'm not getting things right or if I'm just not making a call on something, that I could lose out on $5,000 next week.
That's a much more tangible
That's going to
hit.
make me think a little harder about what I'm calling.
And Ashaad got to my point. Steel sharpens steel. That's exactly where I was going with it. Make it full time. Make these officials accountable.
Well,
It's
that's great insight to bring to the table too. To bring that up because clearly there's some like-minded sentiment within the league and from the pro players that are actually seeing that. So for you to be able to kind of acknowledge, I told you guys we got the right sports, dude. Hey, bringing that perspective.
Just playing.
It's accountability. I mean, as a Marine, if I didn't go to job, if I didn't go to my job,
can you imagine? You're like,
or if I didn't do my
today.
job well, if I kept fucking up my job, I'm going to jail.
So
that's real talk.
Yeah,
if I said I don't want to do my job serving my country after I played football, I said if I kept on getting shit wrong over and over, nah, man, go to Brig. We can't have you here. And I'll get doc pay. Because it happens in every other career, every other occupation. You don't perform to that standard. Athletes, we perform to a meritocracy. What we put out, the more we do, the better it is. Refs should be held.
Everybody should be on that. Makes sense. What were you gonna say, man?
So, and I get that, and I don't disagree with it. My question would be, if I'm thinking at it from a business standpoint, and an alarm is going off on my phone because I'm unprofessional like that. If I'm thinking it from a business standpoint, right, and I'm paying these refs. You said there's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 8 guys on the field at any given time. Even if we had 256 refs that are full time, and we're paying them all $100,000, which I would argue isn't a ton, considering could be bribery, things like that. I am writing $25.6 million in checks, and they're working 17 plus weeks. What do I do with them in the offseason to make them earn their money? Why am I paying 25 mil?
It's a little thing called training.
Okay.
It's a little thing called
the same thing you guys do during the offseason.
Right.
A little thing called watching film. Just like as athletes, the eye in the sky never lies.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Training. Go to these practices.
Hone your craft.
Visit
hone your skill.
Teams, have conversations with coaches. Have conversations with D linemen.
I made Dario angry with that question.
No, but it's a real thing. These are men's livelihoods that are on the line.
Right.
This is how they put food on the table.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Feed their family. They're putting their bodies on the line, man. And
no, I get it. I mean, that makes total sense, man.
Seen thousands of games with the technology that we have, and they get it wrong. Shame on them, man.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. So, sorry, go ahead.
That's a hell of a start of a first.
DHD.
Way to go, man.
Hey, we should not call it DHB, maybe DHB. Dario out here dropping some halftime bombs, bro.
You know what I mean? Like
ground cover. Hey, so Ashaad, man, I know you've been here for a while. I want to wrap it up, but I want to ask you a couple more questions if you got a few more minutes with us. Man, so talk to us because I do want people to know. Obviously, we hope you get back with the Packers. That being said, if you do end up continuing on with your real estate business, what's that transition been like, man? What is that coming from, the athletic world, the pro football life, into a business for yourself kind of life? And what do you take from the sports world that translates over?
So one of the first things my broker told me, my broker is actually was a teacher and a coach at my high school when I was there. So that's how I know him.
That's awesome.
Where was I going with that?
He's a smart man, obviously.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to give him some props.
No, you
Shout
were
out to
telling
your
us
broker.
kind of how you got in there. And one of the first things he kind of came out and told you, your broker.
Right. He was saying, in this business, you have to be okay with the word no. You know what I'm saying? And so you said, what have I learned in the NFL? Like, you have to be okay with no, because people don't realize. I mean, I guess you guys do, but NFL. I mean, it's business. It's as business as you can get. You know what I'm saying? It's as cutthroat as it can get. So me just taking that and being able to spread knowledge on things and just kind of sell myself, which is kind of what you have to do as a player.
100%. Yeah.
That's really enabled me to be in the sales side of business that I've always going to get into. So even if I go play for the Packers or any other team in the NFL, my ultimate goal is to get back here and you know I'm not 100% if it'll be in real estate. I hope it is. Start my own brokerage. If not, I want to be in some type of sales. So it's just good to get my foot in the business world.
That's awesome, man. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna say you've mentioned when we've talked, the once or twice off the show or whatnot about how you think that athletes make the best salesmen because
100%.
they're.
I was going to kind of talk on that.
Yeah, hit it. Tell us.
No. I just think that there's a lot that translates, right? It's adversity that somebody told me a long time ago, and I've always taken this from a sales perspective. I've told my teams this. I preach it, right? To your point, right? Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, getting comfortable hearing the word no. You find in specifically in sales, athletics, whatever the case, you get around stats. Right. In sales, you kind of find your close ratios, your close rates, right? And you get to the point you say, okay, if I talk to 100 people, 10 of them will give me a meeting and one of them will be an actual sell, right? Well, that's your close rate. That's 1%. So if you can transition your perspective on no to, hey, this is just one more no, I'm crossing off the tally list to get to my yes. Right. That was one of the biggest things that helped me, where it was like, hey, these no's are inevitable. You have to go through them to get to that yes. I think it kind of changes the perspective. And I think athletics are very parallel to that in terms of the adversity and constant overcoming and trying to get better.
Right.
It's kind of like every no you go through is just a regular repetition play. And then the yes is where you got that 35-yard run or that.
It's what you practice for.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's awesome, man. So are you you've been enjoying it, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I mean it's been fun. I like working my own hours. The biggest thing that I kind of tell everyone that I looked forward to is the difference in football, or let's say the difference in the NFL and real estate is no matter what or like what I do, if I do it to the best of my abilities, it all falls on me. So all my success falls on me. When in the NFL, you can work as hard as you want and you can think that you were better than this guy, but you might still get cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the sales industry, if you perfect your craft, if you keep doing the things that you need to do, at the end of the day, you're going to have continued success.
I think another reason too that's spot on, right? And as you're saying that, I'm realizing you're very coachable because you've been coached your whole life. And that is another key to sales is to be coachable.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Someone like myself, I struggled coming out of law enforcement because I came out on the kind of the top.
Well, you're also hard-headed, so
very, and that's part of it. So when I slid out of that, I was having a difficult time being coached at first. It was difficult. Whereas you're coming or transitioning straight from being coached your whole life, so you just absorb the knowledge and run with it and execute your plays, pun intended, right? And crush it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right. So, I mean, that's the thing that I've had to notice is, I was able to, be in the NFL and make good money, but these real estate pros that you're running into have a lot more money than I do, which is it's cool, but it's kind of intimidating. But at the same time, you have to let these guys coach you and kind of give you their knowledge because even at my level of success, they've been here for 15 years. This is their success. So you know what I'm saying? So it is about being coachable.
I think that's an awesome perspective, right? Like you're hearing from a professional NFL football player saying, hey, at some point you may have to step back and learn something from somebody else, right? if you can have that perspective and you can understand that, I think we can all take a lesson from that.
Damn
And,
it! I gotta start thinking that way now.
have a little, humble pie and realize, listen, some people know more than us and are better at whatever that field. And you're exactly right, man.
Right.
You're wise to recognize that, though. You hear all the time these NFL players come out, NBA players, whatever, buy a bunch of nice cars, whatever, it's all gone. So the fact that you recognize the long-term investment in real estate, and particularly in a market like San Antonio, I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's killing out here, right? So how do people find you, man? If people are interested, are you a buyer's agent, seller's agent, both?
I do both. I haven't had, well, almost, but I haven't had a listing yet because I've been kind of part time, thinking about playing, blah blah blah. But yeah, I do both. You can find me. I have a business page on Facebook. I have my pages on Instagram.
And is it under your
Facebook.
name or is
Yeah,
that
it's
under?
just so my business page is Ashaad Mabry Realtor.
Cool.
On Instagram and Facebook, you can find me just under Ashaad Mabry. I have my business cards, of course, and
we'll link everything to our side. We'll make sure we put you up there so that you guys can see. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, go to Ashaad Mabry's site and like it.
Yeah,
Ashaad Mabry
absolutely.
Realtor. Man, this alarm is killing me.
Hey,
Keep
that was the
snoozing it,
alarm
too.
he set
Let
to
me-
remind
Let me
us
turn it
to go
off
to your
real quick,
site.
but-
You were actually being super professional, bro.
I
We
was,
appreciate that.
That's what
Appreciate
turn
that.
off.
Yeah,
But
see how he is?
I was
Overly
gonna try to
prepared.
be like, make sure that he sacks your next house or whatever.
Come
But
on, bro.
I messed. I had the alarm that was trying to stop it.
Maybe I should
should've
just
listened
go.
to it. Hey,
That's a wrap.
I'll try. Hey, I need my check for that slogan I just wrote for you, dog.
Man, that's hilarious. Hell yeah, man. Well, let's go around real quick. Let's get you out of here. I know you're taking time out of your evening, so we appreciate it. You guys, any last thoughts, Chris?
I just last question. Have you ever gone and got Madden and played as yourself?
I haven't
That's a great
I
question.
haven't gone and got it and played as myself. My brother actually called me and was like, "I'm you." And, so when I got home in the off season, I went over there. I don't play Madden, so I went over there and I checked it out.
You
but-
felt like you made it. At that
I
point.
was
You're like,
just gonna say,
Well,
how surreal is
when
that?
when I was in college, we still had NCAA. So I actually, cool thing, when I transferred from Oklahoma State and UTSA, people probably don't know this, but on the 2012, which I think was the last one, or 2013 might have been the last one, I was on two teams. And I'm not sure how it happened.
That's so you can
Yeah.
play
Wow.
yourself.
Yeah, I was
from-
on Oklahoma State and UTSA.
That's so awesome.
And so I thought that was really cool. So I had
tied
seen.
in.
Right. So-
Most people.
Playing against myself.
So yeah,
Most
so
people-
I had seen myself on the game, so it wasn't I thought it was cool, but I guess I had seen it before. So
you're more humble than me.
Hey, so real quick, because that was a great question. What was the first thing where you did kind of see yourself, whether it was an advertisement or whatever, where you're like, shit, I'm doing
Like,
this,
that's
man.
me.
You know? Was it the game? Was it?
I don't know. I guess I never really I don't see it. My mom always says you're way too humble, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I guess I've never just looked at myself that way. I could say.
I mean, bro, figuratively and literally, you're a big deal. Like,
Stay humble. Stay humble.
That's
I-
Dario's
I-
tagline, man. He says that every time.
I don't know. I mean, I'm prideful, but I'm humble. I love to see my picture and stuff up in my high school and college and stuff. I'm on elevators and walls and stuff in the Alamo Dome, so that stuff is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that stuff is definitely cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't walk around every day and like.
No, I'm just.
I mean, you could, but
My last question, Sean. I love to eat. I love to work out, but I really love to eat. You got a cheat meal
Me too.
between Whataburger and Las Palapas. What you get?
Oh,
Hey, the real
We're
questions.
getting down
That's-
to real.
that's Whataburger. That's for sure.
What number? I'm a number 2 with jalapenos.
Oh, I'm not a number. I'm a classic. They have
Classic.
the all-time
yeah,
favorites.
yeah.
Oh,
What are you, the
oh.
patty melt?
Mushroom Swiss.
There you go.
Ah.
I ain't mad
I'll
at that.
just keep it
I ain't mad at
classic.
that. I ain't
For-
mad at
Throw
that.
bacon on that, and if y'all haven't tried the Dr Pepper shake,
Oh yes.
you must.
Ooh.
I haven't tried it. I heard.
I
Everybody
love
that's
it.
not from Texas that's listening right now, Don't worry, Chicago bought it. You're about to know what Whataburger is
Yeah,
about.
I'm about to get some of this.
not from Texas. Chick-fil-A.
Hell yeah.
Dario, what's up, man? What do you got?
Or no, PJ, right?
Or, yeah, PJ. Sorry, I was looking
Yeah,
at.
just one more question. So, you know, who is that one person in your life that you need to kind of give a shout out to? Like, it's always been there.
PJ out
Mom.
here stealing my questions.
I thought I heard mom, so
Mom,
I just wanted to
of
make
course.
sure you gave her a shout out and just shout out to mom. Thank you. You know,
Yeah.
thanks, mom.
Now, if he doesn't, he's on the spot. Like
Right.
he's like, "Well, my best friend."
Always a shout out to my mom. You know, we been through so much, and you know, my I don't know. I love you, mom.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. My brothers. One of my older brothers, Markel, when my mom was at work, you know, he raised me. He would clean and cook, and you know, that's my best friend. Can't leave out my other siblings because they'll get mad. Brian, my little sister Michaela, who is a basketball player at Abilene Christian.
Nice.
So she,
Hey, keep an eye
she's
out.
doing big things too. And of course, to my babies, Cameron, my son, and my daughter Serenity. So
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
I mean, that's gonna be a hard question to follow up. That was pretty.
No, I don't even want to follow up. That we're gonna. I was gonna ask him on that.
no,
Well,
you
because
can't back out.
I'm not backing out.
oh,
Hey,
he
but
called
I
you
do
out.
want to elaborate and just real quick, as much as you wanted to get into. I read part of the reason you left OU was to take care of your mom to come back closer to home, right?
OSU.
OSU. I'm sorry. My bad. That
Don't
was
disrespect
damn.
us. Like,
Oh,
Yo, I just
have
got
you seen
real
how big
scared
that's
right now.
Don't touch me. I don't want to get hit.
That was serious and huge just now.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone over this story so many times.
I'm sorry, man.
but- No, you're fine. It's just been so many years. So a lot of people don't know. So when I was originally going to leave to Oklahoma State, it was literally like 2 days after graduation. 2 days before graduation, my mom had a stroke. Yeah, which scared me a lot because you know, love my mom to death. So I ended up staying home and going out to Oklahoma State later in June. But they had found a lump in her arm, which turned out to be cancer. Yeah, so she had synovial sarcoma. And so I was out there, and man, I was just going through the motions, and I just did not care.
Just wasn't even
Yeah.
with it.
You know, honestly, I did not care. And everyone was like, you know, I talked to my mom, and she even made my dad call me and like, what's going on, blah blah blah. And you know, I just kept trying to make up lies like I don't even like football. Just let me come home. You know, just trying to get home to my mom. And you know, like I said, I was just going through the motions, and I just couldn't do it. And I just wanted to come home and be close to my mom and help her out. And so I was literally just coming home to get a job. And I got in touch with one of the coaches at UTSA, and he was like, "We'll give you a scholarship." And I was like,
I
Come
love
and play.
that, though.
"All right,"
All right. I'm up.
because my mom was like, I need you to keep playing. I know how much you love it. And so I figured if I came home, but if I played, she wouldn't be so mad at me.
And that was the inaugural team with UTSA as well, right?
When I got home, it was like maybe like 2 weeks before that first game.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, so I made it just in time.
I love how that story, like, you literally followed your heart and you did what you knew to be right. And you left every quote unquote dream aside because you're like, look, my family is what's right and I need to take care of them. And it still worked out exactly as it should have. You still made it to the league. You know what I mean? That's so cool that a lot of people are like, I don't know, you know?
Right. So
He's a
not a lot of
hustler.
people.
He's a hustler.
Right. Not a lot of people know, but it was actually my coach when I was out there, Bill Young was his name, was trying to get me to stay. And he actually is the reason I left. He was telling me a story about how his mom was sick when he was in college. And he was like, I went to an away game and my mom died and I buried her the next week, never saw her again. And I was like, I'm going home. He literally told me that and I said, I'm going home. And that was,
Wow. That's a
That's why I
strange
went
way to
home.
convince you to
Yeah,
stay.
I
Exactly
was
what you
like-
needed to hear at the exact time.
yeah, I was
Wow.
like, bro, I'm not, if I got to go bury my mom and I don't see her alive before then,
What-
like,
what-
I'll lose my mind. I was like, I'm going home. And I literally walked out that office. I'll never forget. I walked out that office. I packed up my stuff, and I was on the road at like 9:30 at night.
Wow.
Never been back to Stillwater.
What?
That's a
Hell
lie.
yeah.
We played them. That's a lie. We played them.
Why?
That was my first time back.
Why does we get the best stuff like right at the
Yeah.
end?
Hey, can we keep talking for
It's
like
like-
45 more
My bad.
minutes?
Let's start. Hey, welcome to the networking. Like round 2.
I'll come back. We'll do a round 2 next
That's
month.
I
what's
like
up.
that,
That's
man.
what we're wanting to
Hey,
hear, man.
And I don't want to ask another question because I think I don't want to end it on anything else. I think that's hey,
Beautiful
follow
story,
your
man.
heart,
Straight up.
hustle,
Appreciate that.
be humble,
Stay humble.
you know.
Keep hustling. Stay hungry.
And then one last time, man, where do they find you?
His Facebook page.
His
Yeah,
Facebook.
my Facebook page. Dang.
What we got?
Ashaad-
We'll put them up.
Ashaad Mabry,
Hey, check
realtor.
Ashaad Mabry.
I got a-
Hustle's humble link.
Yeah, I got a
Will be
card I
there.
was gonna just hold up into the camera.
That's
Hey,
what's
there
up.
you
Do
go.
it.
I got
Boom.
one in here. Oh yeah, I do.
We got you, man.
Bam.
Where's the camera?
Right there.
Right
there. You go.
there.
Straight ahead.
You see the number?
We'll zoom in and we'll link it, bro. Hell yeah. Hey, so Ashaad Mabry, cannot thank you enough, man. We had a
Absolutely.
blast. Very, very much pleased. Hope you do come back for round 2, the
Definitely.
second half. All right. And
Second
for
half.
all of us here at the Hustlers Huddle, you guys have a great week. We'll see y'all next time. Dario, what do you say?
Stay humble. Stay hungry. Keep hustling.
Later, guys.
I'm on top, I'm on the move. I'm on top, check out the view. I'm on top, see how we do. I'm on top, I'm gonna get ya.